Hey guys! I'm Jen.
And I'm Will.
And if you're new to our channel, we make videos all about full timing in our Alliance Avenue fifth wheel. And we also do videos like this where are more educational RV tips, talking about the RV industry. So if you're interested in any videos like that, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos.
Yeah, guys, so today we're actually here in Texas. There's a little storm rolling in, so we decided we'd make this video for today. And it's going to be really important if you're looking at purchasing an RV anytime in the near future, or if you're just kind of wondering what's going on and kind of maybe what the value of your used one is going to be worth. So it's going to be all about, it's kind of an industry update specifically around pricing, price increases, and how all that's being handled. And yeah, a little bit of insider information and tips and tricks that hopefully help everybody out.
Yeah, so let's jump into it.
All right, cool. So before I jump into things, guys, I do want to give a quick disclosure, just so we're being 100% transparent with you guys. You all know that we try to do that. We do, we have this channel, which is not affiliated by anybody, really, you know, maybe a sponsor here or there. But for the most part, it's whatever we want to put on it. But we do work with the Matt's RV Reviews team, and so we record on there, and that channel, both of those channels, Matt's RV Reviews and Matt's RV Reviews Towables, does have a contract with RV Retailer. So it's a nationwide dealership network, pushing almost 100 dealerships nationwide. Great company, we've worked with them, but full disclosure, you know, they are paying us in a roundabout way. You know, they pay Matt's RV Reviews, Matt's RV Reviews pays us. But this channel has nothing to do with this. We could say anything that we want. So, you know, we are going to be 100% honest. But just so you know, that is, you know,
yeah, we just want to disclose that. But that is why we have a little bit more insight into these kind of things too, more than just like a regular RV customer. We've been very involved in sales, RV sales. We're very involved in the industry, and we kind of see like that side that a lot of RV customers don't get to see.
Yes.
So we're kind of like happy to be that middleman and like sharing that information with you guys.
That's right. Another thing is I'll be giving a lot of opinions and insight into what I think the future holds. You know, obviously nobody can predict the future. It's just kind of what I've thought through and kind of what my predictions are.
Yeah.
So it probably goes without saying, the RV industry right now is crazy. You know, there's just so much going on between shortages, high demand, you know, things going on with around COVID and inflation and all that. And the pricing specifically around it is even crazier right now. It's hard for me to navigate being in the industry and to help people in a good way. You know, it can make for, if you don't understand it, it can make for a very frustrating experience.
Yeah, it's crazy times right now with the pricing. But the reality is, like, people are still buying.
People are still buying, yeah.
You know, people don't want to delay getting, especially I think people who are like getting into RVing. It's like they don't want to delay starting this whole journey.
It's true.
So whenever it magically gets better, which we don't know. I mean, it's been going on now for a couple of years. So I think that's why people are still buying, because they're like, well, I'm paying a lot more, but I don't want to wait years to get into RVing. So.
Yeah, and you know, this wasn't on my notes, but Jen's 100% right. Like, I always tell people, don't wait for anything once you're ready to jump. Don't make a bad financial decision that's gonna you know, harm you financially in any way. But once you're there, once you're comfortable, don't wait for the market to settle down. Don't wait for, you know, this show or that show. You know, always go when you're ready. Now, if there happens to be a show coming up, that's great, you know, situations like that. But don't think right now like, hey, why don't I wait till next year's Tampa show?
Yeah.
You know, that's a mistake. You're going to lose all summer camping. So I don't want any of this to scare you. I wanted to more just educate and help you navigate.
Yeah.
So right now, first thing I'm going to talk about is the demand. So, you know, obviously supply and demand affects an economy incredibly, right? And there has been a huge demand, and so many people in the beginning were like, oh, I'm going to wait for this to settle down. I'm going to wait for this to settle down. And it's not settling down. It's getting worse. Ever since COVID hit, the first couple, maybe 2-3 months of COVID were the best time to buy because people weren't buying. There was low demand. Dealerships were selling units below their cost because they didn't want to pay the curtailments, which are like the minimum payment. Like, think of it as a minimum payment on your credit card. If they could just get it off their lot, get rid of it, even lose a little bit of money, pay their salesmen, keep them happy with a little bit here and there, they were thrilled. That didn't last though.
No.
And it's only gotten worse. So demand actually, I think over the last couple months has dipped a little bit, but the demand is still crazy. And that's typical for the winter market. So every time around November, December, people stop thinking about RVing.
Yeah.
It's Christmas, it's holidays, it's Thanksgiving, and then January will start to pick back up because of the Tampa show, and then it might slow a little bit again in February. But then once March comes around, which is right around the corner, it'll be right back up.
Yeah.
So right now, you might be seeing at dealership lots, inventory is starting to get a little bit better, which is good. It is very, very good because even come March, April, May, they're going to be wiped out again. The demand is so high that they're not even really getting caught up right now. They're just, it's a little bit of a buffer for this spring market.
Oh, yeah.
So even though, you might see dealerships filling now, the pricing, hasn't really changed much. The demand is still high. And it also depends what you're looking at. Travel trailer, well, fifth wheels probably have the lowest demand. Small travel trailers, Class C's, are impossible to get practically right now.
I think what it is the units that are easier for people who are new to RVing to get into. So a Class C, in terms of motorhomes, Class C's are a nice starter motorhome for people.
Right.
They feel more comfortable driving it than a Class A. Price point, obviously. And then with fifth wheels, same thing.
Correct.
A lot of people have a vehicle that can pull a small travel trailer.
Right.
But not everyone has,
a 2500, 3500 diesel,
right,
dually,
stuff like that, that you would need more for fifth wheels. And so, those types of RVs that are easy for people to get into that are new to RVing are really going fast.
Yeah, and that's been all throughout COVID. Of course, everything ticked up.
Yeah.
But fifth wheels are always almost the most stable. Like the fifth wheel people, they prepare for it. They buy their truck around it. Mm-hmm. They have the fifth wheel hitch. They're comfortable towing something like that. Most fifth wheel people don't just show up at the lot. They're first time ready to buy fifth wheel.
Yeah. It's more of a planned purchase.
That's more the sustainable. As the market shifts up and down, fifth wheels usually, of course, they go up and down too, but it's much smoother.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, a lot of people got into the market with a travel trailer, and they are now trading up to a fifth wheel. Mm-hmm. I have been seeing that a lot as well. Also, right now, we're still dealing with terrible industry shortages. Every time we turn around, when you drive through Elkhart, Indiana right now, there's tons of units built, but they're waiting on ACs, they're waiting on furnaces, on steps, on ladders, on windows, this, that. Mm-hmm. The shortages are crazy right now. And what's that's kind of workable. During winter, they have been, some manufacturers have been sending units without furnaces and saying, hey, it's part of the contract. We will get you that furnace as soon as we can. During summer, they would do that because you don't need a furnace during summer most of the time. And it might take 2 or 3 months or however long, maybe only weeks. But, there's been workarounds. Now, what's been really crazy is just the cost of materials going up. Labor's gone up, materials have gone up, the cost to build and assemble and put everything together has just gone through the roof. And it's unbelievable to me how much inflation there has been, especially around the RV industry. Matt and I talk about it all the time. That there were units, several years ago we were selling for under 100,000. Now they're pushing 150 grand, like real numbers. And the crazy thing is from everybody that I've talked to in the industry, I don't think it's coming back down. Maybe ever. Maybe, it'll take years. It is.
The real estate market has exponentially inflated in the past 2 years. And, there's a lot of debate. Some people think there's going to be a crash, but there's also a good possibility that this is just the new norm of pricing that we have to adjust to, and obviously, hopefully, salaries and income adjust too. That's, I think, why it's such a pain point right now, is because the cost of groceries is insane. We go to the grocery store,
and the other day we hardly got anything, and it was over $200.
Right.
And I remember when we first got married, which was about 3 years ago now, I used to go to the grocery store and try to stay under 100. That was my goal.
And it was doable.
It was doable.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd go a little bit over, sometimes I'd be a little bit under. Now there's no way.
No.
And
now you're getting, a pack of yogurt.
Right.
And I think a misconception among RV buyers is that manufacturers are taking advantage of the COVID environment and like trying and making a lot more off the sale of the RVs, and they're just charging a lot more because they can, because the demand is there. And that's actually not true. I know firsthand from obviously we have an alliance, and we've talked a lot to the owners of Alliance about just the state of the RV industry with pricing and just how crazy the prices have gone up. And what they were telling us was that unfortunately, like, they're actually making less money than they used to make on them. Even though the price for the consumer is a lot more, the cost of materials for them have gone up so exponentially. They have no choice but to raise the price, but they're actually making a little bit less on each unit than they did before COVID. And so that's a sad scenario. The customers are kind of getting a little frustrated, I think, thinking they're being taken advantage of. Manufacturers aren't making as much money. So it's causing these, like, this tension. So I think that's just like something good for the consumers to understand, is like it is frustrating. Obviously, you're paying a lot more, but understand the manufacturers aren't getting high on the hog here with their profit. I know Alliance has obviously given up on profit. They've tried to work out deals with a lot of their suppliers for the materials for the RV to try to get better pricing on it. The manufacturers are, I think, really doing the best they can to deal with these shortages and just the cost of materials going up.
Yeah, that's so true. And whenever I talk to people, they're always like, obviously, on one hand, you could say it's been great. They cleared out old inventory through all of COVID. And there's no doubt about it. Everybody in the industry made more money. Sales jumped. But at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, it's time for things to settle down. And it'll be good for things to settle down now. When we were in Elkhart, Indiana in November, they were talking about how, they just want to give different manufacturers and different OEMs and parts suppliers and everything was like our team has been working overtime 7 days a week. Some people hadn't had a day off in months.
Just to keep up with the demand.
Keep up with demand. It's like everybody is ready for it to settle down. It's not like nobody's pumping this artificially in the RV industry.
Yeah, manufacturers don't enjoy this, trust me.
Yeah. So that kind of leads to the next thing is what's very important to all the end consumers is what is that end price going to be and how to navigate that. And if you have even looked into the industry, it is crazy how much price increases have been, like I said earlier. So what's happening is right now a lot of people are finding different pricing, maybe even within the same dealership, even with the same options and everything. And what it used to be was like, back when we were doing sales, if somebody came to me and said, hey, here's MSRP for this unit, it's $100,000 and they're selling it to me for $75,000. I could say, look at those options and say, okay, ours is spec'd the exact same way, and so the MSRP would be the same, and so we should be able to at least match that price because everybody paid the same for it.
Yeah.
That is not the case anymore. Like, day by day.
It depends when the dealership bought that
It depends
RV.
what day it came offline, what day it was PO'd to the dealership. And even more confusing is with orders. So really quick, I want to give a quick scenario that I pulled up. There are 2 units, but they're the exact same units, spec the exact same way. And I don't have specific dates on this, but this is within the RV retailer network. I found a 2022 Solitude fifth wheel, 378 MBS. So, and again, fifth wheels are having some of the most stable pricing, right? One just arrived. The other had been at the dealership for 84 days. Okay, so the MSRP on the one that just arrived is $132,543. The one that has been on hand for a little while, the MSRP is $121,439.
Wow.
So that's an $11,104 price increase. That's huge in 84 days. So what that tells me, and it doesn't work exactly like this, for every day that went by between those 2 units, it went up $132.19 every day, which again, that's every single day, holidays, weekends, everything, you know. That's a lot of money, and that adds up very, very quick. And again, it's not like, hey, this one came offline today and the one coming offline tomorrow is going to be $132 cheaper. They're probably going to be the same, but it's just like at some point it's going to say, okay, 2 weeks later, a month later, 2 months later, hey, we're doing that price increase now.
Yeah.
But on average, for that specific unit,
it's going up $132 a day in price.
Again, $11,000 for the same exact unit. And it's like such a salesman thing to say, like, hey, don't wait. Buy it now. You know, it's going to be worse.
Sell it.
Yeah. It's going to be worse. You know, you don't want to wait. But it really is true these days. Like I said earlier, hey, if it's going to put you in a bad financial decision, that $11,000 doesn't matter.
Either way, yeah.
Either way. Wait until you're ready, but once you're ready, don't wait for the market to settle down. Don't wait for this. Don't wait for that.
Right, you wait 6 months till a show, and I can promise you it's probably going to be more expensive at the show than it was if you had just bought it at the dealership 6 months before, because 6 months makes a difference.
Right.
You know?
It's so true. Yeah, exactly like Jen said. It's like, it doesn't matter. It almost doesn't matter. Like, this dealership would give me a little bit better at the show. It's like, yeah, but by the time that show rolls around, their cost is going to be $5,000 more, you know? With that said, another aspect of this is ordering. So many people are having to order units right now. That's even another battle, because what's happening is there are so many shortages. Each dealership has their allotment, right? So let's say for this Grand Design Solitude 378 MBSR, for dealership X, they're going to say, hey, you sold a ton of these units for us. We're going to send you 50 for the month, right? And then another dealership's going to say, hey, you're a newer dealer or whatever it is. You only sold 5 of these. You're a smaller dealer. So your allotment, we'll give you 6 this year. Well, the dealership, either way, they want more allocation. They need more units because they'll sell them. So what they're doing is, with an order, they're giving you basically a fake price a lot of times, because they're going to say, oh, well, the last one that we just had in stock, the MSRP was $121, and I was able to sell it for, call it $100,000. So I'll do that same deal. I'll sell you one for $100,000. But when the unit actually comes in 84 days later, like in this situation, the MSRP is $11,000 higher.
Their cost is higher.
Their cost is higher.
So then they pass that on to you.
So then they're going to pass that on to you. Now, here's the thing. They're going to call you up and say, hey, I'm so sorry. You know, I'm only going to charge you the difference of what it went up. It's kind of like they're doing you a favor, and they'll be like, I understand if you don't want to purchase it anymore, you know, we'll give you your deposit back. What you just did is you upped their allocation from 6 to 7 units, because a retail sold doesn't count against their 6 allocations. So dealerships are doing that like crazy, where they'll give you a low sale price
just to get the unit
in stock, because when they send that buyer's order that you signed on, and it shows a $5,000 deposit for this order, and they send it to the manufacturer, that's another unit. And, you know, for even a bigger dealership, you know, if they're doing another 50 orders, that's another 50 units that they can sell. So they're happy to give you your deposit back when the unit comes in. But what that does for you is now, you know, maybe they said they could do it for $100,000, where another dealership said they could do it for $105,000, but they were going to lock that price in. Now they're going to tell you, hey, it's $111,000, and so now you're $6,000 higher. But even this dealership, for them to do a new order, they're going to be even higher than that. Yeah. You know, so it really messes up the whole system in the end.
Yeah, and it's really sad for the consumer, because personally, if I'm like, say I go to a show and I'm like, okay, I want to buy this unit, and they show me this price, but it's not price locked, and there could potentially be price increases. But you know, maybe as a consumer, that's not even in my realm of thought. Like, I'm not aware of the fact that they're going to be doing price increases. So I'm like, oh yeah, that price looks good. I sign up for that. I give you my deposit, and it's not coming in for 6 months. And for the next 6 months, we're planning our camping trips.
Yep.
We're buying accessories for the RV. We're getting emotionally invested and excited about this RV. And then it comes in and it's like, hey, well, you can still have it, but it's $15,000 more. It's like, you know, I'm so invested in this RV now that maybe it's really financially hard for me to do $15,000 more, but it's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do it because, like, what else do I do? And now the price, like you said, now the price to buy it now anyways has already gone up. And so, I'm just screwed over, honestly. And I just think it's really sad for the consumer when that's happening.
Right, and this is, like, real, guys. Like, so at RV Retailer, we lock in all the prices if you go through our team. You don't have to worry about that. I get a call once a week minimum from other people. $10,000 is on the low side. For this example, I gave you $11,000. It's 20s usually.
Because that's their cost may have gone up by $11,000, but they're gonna make more probably off of that price increase. They're not gonna, like, even if they only charge you the difference in their cost, it's like
it wouldn't be as bad.
Okay, it still like sucks for the consumer, but it's like at least they're not the dealership isn't taking advantage.
Yeah.
But no, they make money off that price increase.
They do.
Yeah.
No, they're making and that's what's sad. That really is sad. So again, when you're shopping, if you have somebody at call it $100,000 not locked in, and somebody at 105 locked in, the locked in price is probably going to be better.
Yep.
Because when that unit comes in, it's going to be 111. And then if you try to go back to this dealership, they're going to say, well, we can do another order now, but for me to lock in that price, now we're at 114. You know what I mean? And it's just this constant battle.
Yeah.
Just with price increases. The locking in your price is so important. And again, if you're working with us through our team, it's going to be no problem. But even if not, if you're going through somebody else, totally fine. Make sure to get that in writing.
Yeah.
There's just too many people that they're like, the salesman's going to say whatever to get the deposit, and they'll figure it out later. Hopefully this sale sticks. Yeah, because, again, it's not even about getting your deposit back. Most of the time you can get your deposit back. It's no biggie. It's about
waiting 6 months for your RV.
6 months for your RV and then having it come in higher than you're expecting, maybe more than you can afford, whatever it is.
Right.
The last thing that I want to talk about is just the used inventory, because this is a question that we get a lot of times. It's like, oh, well, what about used? Used demand is incredibly through the roof, more than new. The thing with used is almost more valuable right now than new because it's in hand, available right now.
It's not an order.
Honestly, of course, used is always going to be less than new. Well, sometimes. Sometimes I've been seeing used go for more than new.
Yeah.
Typically, it's a little bit less, but your overall deal isn't as good. You're going to be forgetting the new and getting the factory warranty and not having multiple owners and all that. The value is usually a little bit better with new right now. That's not always the case. But again, if you need something in hand right now, used could be a very good option and maybe your only option.
Yeah.
With used though, it's so hard. You have to be on it like a hawk because it'll go same day, because any good salesperson, they have a list right now, and what they'll do is when a used unit comes in, let's say it's a popular one would be a Jayco Melbourne Prestige, right? Nice unit on a Mercedes chassis, full body paint and everything. So what they'll do is when their dealership gets one in, they'll have like an Excel spreadsheet or something. They'll just take Control F and look at all the people looking for a Melbourne Prestige, and they, again, if they're a good salesperson, they tell their customers, be ready when I call you, kind of have your budget set, see if this works, and be ready to jump on it. It'll be sold in 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I think, on the other side of that, like if you're looking maybe to buy new and you have a trade-in, especially for like overall, dealerships are loving your trade-in right now. But then there's like certain units like the Melbourne Prestige that like they're, really sought after units. So if you have something like that, like you have a nice unit and it's clean and you've taken care of it and everything, just know when you're going into the negotiating conversation, like you have some leverage on your trade-in value.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah, and make sure, if they're like lowballing you for your trade-in value, you definitely want to like look at that because trust me, they want your unit most of the time.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, this is just, to wrap it up, just some of our tips, some of what we're seeing. Again, the biggest thing that I can tell you, so many people are doing orders right now. The right way to do it is to get a price locked in. Unfortunately, those dealerships, including us a lot of times, are losing those deals just because the price looks higher today, but it's a it's the right way to do things, and ultimately most of the time it's the better price for the consumer.
Yeah.
In the end, so
yeah, we hope this video is helpful. Obviously the RV pricing landscape right now is just insane.
Yeah.
And so hopefully this provided a little bit more clarity. And another thing I want to mention, Will does handle a lot of the like sales customer aspect over with Matt's RV Reviews. He's helping customers all the time, try to get a good price and just kind of like being that middleman of really like looking out for the customer. And
I'm
like,
not a salesman for RVR. I'm not like
you're that middle person, like helping them, making sure that they're going to be taken care of. So if you guys are watching this and you are looking to buy soon, and you're kind of ready to like have that conversation, I'll put Will's work email down below so that you can reach out to him and he can kind of help you and give you an idea of pricing and stuff with like the particular unit you're looking at or your trade-in value and stuff like that. So I'll make sure to put that down below. But again, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. We do more videos like this. And
let us know in the comments below if you like this. We could do this on a monthly or a quarterly thing if you guys found value out of this, because again, things are probably going to be way different next month,
and just other aspects of the industry. Like this is more about pricing, but if you like these kind of industry updates, let us know. We'll definitely do more of them.
For sure.
But thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on Sunday for our next vlog. Bye.
See ya.